Hi YouTubers, this is another video from your friendly neighborhood reviewer Evelyn. Today we're going to be reviewing episode 14 of the Korean fantasy drama series Moving. You can find the series on Disney+. Now I did the review episode 13, that broke my heart, but episode 14 completely destroyed me. It was titled The Idiot, which I found to be I felt angry that they titled it this. So the other story that we get the background is of the young boy of Lee Gan-hoon, the one with the glasses and who has super strength and I think as well super speed. And we find the backstory of his dad. His dad was the one with the powers of EJ-Man. Now the actor of Kim Sung-kyun, I saw him in Fiery Priest, but this role he's done, great actor, kind of underrated. So EJ-Man, the character, is mentally discapacitated, we can clearly see, but still able to talk and understand what's going on. How he got together with his wife, that was never fully explained. So he's basically a normal guy. You get through a shot of EJ-Man like carrying this big kind of like cardboard boxes on his back, and we can see that he's easily influenced because in the area that Lee Gan-hoon as a baby with his dad and his mom is living is going to be redeveloped, so his mom is kind of like fighting against that. Now EJ-Man's character as a father, it mirrors of Jang Ju-won. The beginning of the episode, we see Jang Jo-won having to come to terms that his wife is now dead and he has to look after his little girl of Hae-soo. And he has to tell his boss of Min Young-jun that he needs to go back to the desk. However, Min Young-jun curiously tells Jang Jo-won, "Is your daughter already recovered?" And he says yes. So you can see his wheels starting to spin about power children. Because the guy with the lizard eyes, the now principal of the high school, goes and proposes to Min Young-jun. Come on, we have power children already know about Kim Bon-seok. So let's put them all into a high school together without the parents knowing, and let's train them. So that's the genesis of how all these high school students with powers, the three of them, happen to meet together. So the basic gist of episode 14 is EJ-Man. He loves his son Lee Gan-hoon because at the beginning, EJ-Man was with his wife and his wife got, I think, assaulted by a customer, and so with his great strength he goes and beats up the guy, but somehow he ends up going to prison. So it takes about 4 years, he gets released by prison, and then he meets his 4-year-old son at Lee Gan-hoon, in which he's trying to find rapport again. I swipe to the story of Jang Ju-won. He manages to accommodate his daughter's needs of going to kindergarten, all of that kind of stuff, but his boss of Min Jung-yoon goes and tells him, "If I call you, you better pick up. If not, you won't have a job anymore." So when the telephone call happens for Jang Ju-won, he's left in the predicament that he doesn't want to leave his daughter alone per se, but he has to. Because after EJ-Man is already released, he's already building rapport with his young son of Lee Gan-hoon, the protest starts. Unbeknownst to EJ-Man, his wife is a part of the protest. Now, when I saw that, I was like thinking, okay, I know you're protesting by all means, but you know your husband has, a disability and he has this strength. He loves you and he loves his son, so he's got to protect you and put himself in danger, and that's what happens. So after EJ-Man picks up his son and they're back at the apartment eating, he realizes that his wife is not here, because the main thing about EJ-Man, he times everything and he sees his wife is not there. So he promises his son, he's like, "I'll come back, just stay here, I promise, I'll keep my promise." And the little boy is like, "Are you sure? Are you sure?" This episode completely broke my heart. It's a story about parents that they want something better for their children, and I just hate the fact that they titled this episode The Idiot, because that's far from the case. Somebody with pure intentions. So he goes to find his wife in the midst of the riots with the protesters and against the police, and he sees his wife gets beaten up and gets put into the bus by the police because they're going to be carted off. So he goes wild, he jumps, uses his super strength, and his wife's like, don't do it, think about a son, you must not get caught. In which he heeds his wife's words and he ends up escaping in the sewer. So that's where Jang Ju-won comes in. Min Young-jun goes and calls, and he says that there is another powered person escape in the sewers and like to see whether we can use them. So Jang Ju-won goes into the sewers, and there's not funny, but then again I was like thinking, Jesus, the sewers in Korea that much. There's another little boy, like a neighbor in the area, that goes out from his mom's kind of like pet shop, but who goes out in the middle of torrential rains to start exploring? This little boy with his flip-flops in the night time. You would have thought that by survival instincts the little boy would be like, I'm not going to go out, but he does. He ends up getting swept into the sewers, where Jang Ju-won and Lee Jae-min has this epic fight scene in which they're both equally matched. But of course, Lee Jae-min doesn't have the regenerative powers, but Jang Ju-won's okay. So Jang Ju-won manages to subdue the other guy and handcuff him, but as they're going out from the sewer, Jang Ju-won hears the little boy saying, help me, help me, and we have that little like not sweet shot, but that the little boy hanging on the bars in the sewer where the current is going through. And in that moment, Jang Ju-won, his instincts as a father, he's trying to save the little boy, to no avail, but Lee Jae-min manages to wake up again and helps him. And in that moment, that eye contact that Jang Ju-won does to Lee Jae-min realizes that this guy is a good guy. So they manage to save the little boy. And Jang Ju-won leaves Lee Jae-min to go because he knows he'll go back to his son because he's a father and he's a father, so he understands that. And Min Young-jung goes and says, are you sure he's gonna go back to his son? And that's when Min Young-jung finds out that Lee Jae-min has a mental discapacity, but he brutally says that, what am I going to do with somebody that's retarded? So they go back to his house and Jang Ju-won sees Lee Min-jung is there with his son crying, and then the little boy at that time was so angry when the other military people came in, or the secret police, or the NIS. Little Lee Gan-hoon goes and uses his powers, and we see how ferocious little boy's powers are, because of course, a 4-year-old boy seeing his dad going to be taken away, beaten up, and he's like, why are you gonna take my dad yet again? So Min Young-jung's wheels start turning, and he realizes that maybe he can use the children of the powered people. And in that moment, Jang Ju-won realizes that his daughter could be in danger of being exploited. And on that night, Jang Ju-won escapes with his daughter and erases all trace. And then we can see basically episode 14 is giving us the start of this whole kind of journey that we've been since episode 1, the reason why Jang Ju-won disappeared. And at the same time, we get flash forward that Lee Gan-hoon gets recruited by the guy with the snake eyes, convincing him, oh, your dad has prior convictions, you can help him if you work for us. He gets brainwashed. And then we see that Lee Jae-min is kind of on house arrest in the shop with his wife. So that's essentially episode 14. This episode, broke my heart completely, showing the love of the parents in both sides. Episode 15, I've seen of the, present day with the school children, with Kim Bong-suk, wanting to be with his own powers, and as well of Jang Hae-soo, Jang Ju-won's daughter, maybe realizing that she loves Kim Bong-suk, that they have that connection. And now finally in episode 15, both parents of Jang Ju-won and Kim Bong-suk's mother, they're going to investigate what's going on in this school. Okay, so this is the end. If you hear some background noise, my neighbor's mowing the grass. So if you made it here, a big thank you to any of your viewers. Really appreciate it. We can hit the subscribe button, keep the channel growing, and to any new subscribers and current ones, thank you so much for watching the video. I don't know how much I appreciate this. And leave your comments down below what you thought about episode 14 and what's your expectations for the end of the series. As I leave you always, stay safe.